Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this evening. For the past 23 years, Darren Colucci has been a successful trial attorney in Massachusetts, often representing plaintiffs in high-profile personal injury cases. In recognition of his work in this field, Newsweek recently named him one of the 10 best personal injury attorneys in America. He is one of the founding partners of Colucci, Marcus, and Flavin, and makes his home in Duxbury, Massachusetts, where he lives with his wife, Lorna, and his son, Jackson. He is a graduate of Bucknell University and Suffolk University Law School, where he was a staff member and comment editor of the Law Review. He has been a commentator on WBZ Radio in Boston, and along with his firm has been recognized numerous times by the publication Super Lawyers. Darren has also written several works of fiction and nonfiction, his latest work being Everything I Never Learned in School About How to Be Successful. Mr. Colucci has been a successful investor, an entrepreneur, and inventor who recently designed a safety mechanism to stop wandering in daycare centers and Alzheimer's units. In addition, he has spent 12 years as a college football coach. During that time, he gave dozens of speeches to young adults on such subjects as success, integrity, mindset, and the importance of attitude. He was also a guest speaker at one of our faculty in-services not that long ago. So please join me in welcoming Darren Colucci.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. And when I say that, I actually mean it, because I was lucky enough to be asked to give 2 commencement addresses this year. And let me set the scene of the first one. There's about 3,000 people there. I get there, I look at the schedule, and I see there are going to be 6 speeches, 3 songs, and 400 diplomas handed out before they want me to talk. That's a recipe for disaster. So I'm sitting there for 2.5 hours, and I'm thinking, this is going to be terrible. So they finally get to the end. You know, Zeke Zaletsky goes across the stage as the last guy. And you could feel the energy in the room pick up a little bit because the graduates were about to flip their tassels and throw their caps. And the principal runs up to the podium and says, wait, we have one more speaker. And I heard 3,000 people say, oh dear Lord, no. One woman, I think it was someone's grandmother, put her arms out and looked to the heavens in despair. And then they wanted me to talk. So when I say thank you for the warm welcome, I mean it. Now, in preparing my remarks for tonight, I was reminded the last time I walked across the stage as a graduate. It was 24 years ago. For me, it was law school. And I heard that the commencement speaker was going to be a cabinet secretary. I was very excited. I mean, that's an accomplished person seated at the right hand of power in the then Clinton administration. I couldn't wait. So this gentleman takes the podium, I'm on the edge of my seat, and he went right to the well, right to the thing that every commencement speaker talks about, that hackneyed issue, the North Atlantic Free Trade Agreement. I felt robbed. I went to school like you. It was hard. I worked full-time during the day. I went 6 to 10 at night, 4 nights a week for 4 years. I was subsisting on Hot Pockets and Pop-Tarts with ever-deepening student loan debt, and I got a speech about trade policy. So for better or worse, you're going to get the speech I wish I got. I wanted a little appreciation, a little advice, and a little inspiration. So let me be the very first to congratulate you on what is not just an accomplishment, a milestone in your life. Congratulations. Now, if you'd be so kind, I'd like to say a word about milestones. This is not the last one you're going to have. And you're ambitious people. You're thinking about your future, where you're going to go, what you're going to do, what's next. But it took me a very long time to learn how to handle a milestone. At times like this, you got to calm down. You got to reflect. You got to be grateful for what you just did, for the people that helped you do it, for the love of your family, the support of your husband or your wife or your friends, for the direction of the professors, especially the ones that were most demanding. These are the times you have to think about gratitude. And the analogy I like best is fishing. I love to fly fish. And when you fish from a boat, when you fly fish, you're on the bow, and you have to continually look at the water, because that's where the fish are, and they're going to pop up, just like life. You're looking for opportunities, and you got to be ready. But every trip, there's always a point where I look back over the stern of the boat. Now, you can't catch a fish looking back there. You can't succeed in life looking back. But what you can do is you look at the bend of the river. You look at the mountains. You look at where you just came through with appreciation. That's how you handle a milestone, and that's what you have tonight. You should all be looking back with appreciation and with pride as to what you just accomplished. It's a tremendous accomplishment. Now, there's very kind words when I was introduced, and she mentioned that I had written a book on success. So it's chock full of advice, and I gave myself a challenge tonight. I said, what's the one thing that I could say that will help them no matter what? Whether it's nursing, whether it's broadcasting, whether you want to own your own business, what is the best piece of advice I can give you that no matter what your endeavor, this will help you? And here it is. Don't complain. We complain about everything in America. It has replaced baseball as America's favorite pastime, complaining. We complain about everything. But two things happen when you complain. Number one, it's a straight waste of time. Break it down. It's a waste of time. And I don't care how successful you are, you'll never have enough money to buy yourself more time. You only have so much of it. And the second thing that happens when we complain is the problem that you're complaining about gets bigger in your own mind, and bigger until it seems insurmountable. So let me give you a story about a friend of mine. And I really was careful in picking this story because it's not about Bill Gates. It's not about Elon Musk. It's not about Oprah Winfrey. It's about a guy that I know named Ellie. He's a Haitian American. He's a wonderful guy. I love him. And how I met him was my wife and I are lucky. We have a home in Boston, but we have a home right here in South Florida, and we love it. We come back and forth as much as we can. And Ellie runs a car service. He picks us up at the airport. And I love this guy. He runs his business the way a business should be run. He's on time, he's courteous, he's smiling, he's nice. I don't care if somebody would offer it for a cheaper price. I'm going with him. So one day I met someone who knew him. So we figured that out, and he said to me, everybody's jealous of Ellie. I said, why? He said, we all used to work for the same car company at the airport. And every day we would get together and have coffee, and we would all complain about how bad it was. They took too much money, the airport fees were too much, Uber was killing us. He said, except for Ellie. He just sat there every day drinking his coffee. So then one day Ellie shows up to work and he says, today's my last day. And we all said, what are you talking about? He said, I'm leaving. To do what? He said, I'm starting my own car company. And the guy said, just like that? He said, just like that. He said, why? He said, because you know all the things you guys complain about? They're all true. And I'm never going to change them sitting here complaining. The only way to change them is to go out and do it myself. The guy said, aren't you afraid? He said, of course I'm afraid, but I'm more afraid of being here for 2, 3, 4 years and still complaining about the same things. Now, Mr. Ellie just handed you a key to success, my friends. When you see a problem, think of it this way. Success, fulfillment, happiness, money are on the other side of the problem. You got to go around it, under it, through it, over it, whatever it takes. Just don't talk about it. See it and go do it. And I want to tell you one other thing that applies to every graduate here, every one of your wonderful family here to support you, every attendee, every person taking pictures, everybody standing behind me or sitting behind me. True words were never spoken. You're capable of more than you think. You're capable of so much more than you think, whether you know it or not, whether you accept it. Thank you, my friend. Now, I know we're all cynical. It's built in. Whatever anybody tells you, that you have to look at it with a jaded eye. No, no, no. I want you to, for the sake of argument, just for the balance of this talk, believe what I'm saying is true. You're capable of so much more than you think. The only thing holding you back as you move forward in life is going to be what you create between your ears. Because whether you're poor, rich, had a disadvantaged childhood, had every benefit in the world, it's up to you what you're going to do. Nothing else. The minute you think it's something else, then you're those guys at the airport. just accepting the problem. You, my friends, are the American dream. The American dream is alive and well. We live in a great country. It's got problems, but you're the American dream. You didn't sit around and complain. You bettered yourself. You put the time in. You showed up. You worked hard. And now you're seated there ready to graduate. This is a launching pad for you. Now, I mean this. You don't have to go to Harvard. I didn't go to Harvard. You don't have to do that. You're all starting from the same spot. It's what you want to do with your life and what you decide you're going to do with your life. Because it is not fate. Let me repeat that. It's not fate. It's only fate when you accept what life gives you. It's not up to life. It's up to you. Who would you rather have your fate beholden to but you? You can do whatever you want and aim high. It doesn't have to be tomorrow, but aim high. Because that's how you succeed in the world. That's how you make a mark in the world. And somebody seated here is going to have the honor of standing at this podium as this institution's most famous graduate. And you know what you're going to tell everyone sitting there? Believe in yourself. Aim high, because you can do it. Now, I want to reinforce that, and then I'll sit down so you can get your diplomas. You're going to get job interviews, and I want you to think about what you're going to do at that job interview. You're going to look spectacular. You're going to be eloquent. You're going to be energetic. Why? Because you want to convince the person who's hiring you that you're worthy. I say spend 10 times the amount of time convincing yourself that you're worthy. Convincing yourself that you can change the world, my friends. And that's not a bumper sticker. I mean it. Everything you see around you was created by someone no smarter than you. And once you accept that, once you see yourself in the corner office, you'll get to the corner office and you'll have your idea of success. Whatever that is, you'll hit it. And every person that you touch is going to benefit from your experience here. Your wife, your husband, your children, your aunts, your uncles. Everyone's going to benefit from you because you put the work in and you achieved. God bless you. Go boldly into the world.
Thank you, Mr. Colucci. On behalf of City College, the faculty and administration, we'd like to recognize you with an honorary doctorate in law from the state of Florida, July 2017.